Hello everyone, Matthew here. Now, I feel like some people might see my collection of video games and they probably might think, "Oh, how could I afford all this?" Well, here's the thing. Uh the reason why I have this many is cuz I've been doing this for a while. So So it's not like I go out of my way to buy rare and valuable games. It's just like some of the games that I do buy or some of the impulse buys that I had at Walmart eventually become rare rare and valuable. Yeah, and a lot of people think that, a lot of uh rare and valuable games and the greatest games of all time are crazy expensive, and admittedly some retro games are a bit expensive, but not all of them. Yeah, some of what's considered like the greatest games of all time are like not that expensive. Are not that so so I figured that I'd show my top 10, the top 10 best my top 10 favorite games that are also pretty that are also pretty affordable. Starting with Super Mario World. Of course, getting box a box copy like this is probably costs a lot, but yet again I bought the box after I bought the cartridge, so yeah, you can get Super Mario World for not that much money. In fact, uh, Super Super Mario Super Mario Brothers I got pretty inexpensive too, and Super Mario Brothers 3 is not too expensive. Although I have the right bros, so I guess getting the left bros might be a tad bit more, but still, if you get these games loose, they're like not more than like $30 at the most. So I think that's pretty reasonable. Next up is Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, this is considered like one of the greatest Mario games of all time. You can get this for like $20. So it's not super expensive. Also, Spyro's Year of the Dragon. Great game. Great game to have to your PS1 collection. And also Crash Team Racing. I actually consider this better than Mario Kart, to be honest. Like, it is so good. You got like a full adventure mode and everything. I guess the downside is you don't have like easable, accessible 4-player multiplayer, but that's not much of a downside. Also, Final Fantasy 9. You can get this game for about $40 at most, and it is definitely worth it. Yeah, and there's also Bravely Second. This and Brave. This and Bravely Default are still not are still not are still pretty reasonable price, despite the fact that the 3DS's eShop went down. And so are the 3DS Pokemon games too. Whatever. Yeah. And sometimes if you want a game at a great price, sometimes it's better to look on the previous gen consoles, like Sonic Generations. Yeah, Sonic Generations on 360 is still a great pickup. I mean, it doesn't have the shadow generations that the current versions have, but other than that, it's still a good version to have if you want Sonic Generations a lot cheaper. And I think although it's probably only a matter of time before Sonic X Shadow goes down. Also, if you still have a Wii U and want to play Breath of the Wild, well, you have the Wii U version. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people forgot that this came out on the Wii U as well as the Switch, considering a lot of people usually see Breath of the Wild as a Switch game and not a Wii U game. And I guess the problem with this version is you can't get any of the DLC anymore, but honestly, I don't think you really need the DLC to enjoy this one. It's still a really big game even without it. And that is a good example of great games you can get for not that much money. Of course, there's other examples like you can get like the Xbox 360 version of Skyrim or any of the Halo games. They're still pretty cheap, and they're considered the best first shooter games. In fact, a lot of Xbox 360 games are still pretty inexpensive for the most part. And I've been kind of itching to replay my Xbox 360, but the problem is my old rabbit ate the cords, and I've been trying to get new ones, and I got one from Video Game Trader, but I think they might have sold me ones that are incompatible, so I've been trying. So I think I bought one off eBay that looks like it's compatible with my 360. Although you could argue I could just get a Xbox Series S and just play them on that with like the performance and FPS boost, but I don't want to buy an Xbox Series S because I have a perfectly working Xbox 360. At least I hope it still works. I haven't actually used this in a while. I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, take care.